"Anna, you are the light of my life. Will you marry me?" John asked, his voice soft. Anna smiled, her heart racing with excitement. "Yes, John, I will marry you," she replied, her cheeks blushing with happiness. But little did Anna know, behind John's sweet words and warm smile, there was a terrible secret. John wasn't who he pretended to be. He had a dark plan, one that Anna could never have imagined. And this was only the beginning. Once upon a time, in a small town, there lived a very rich man. This man had 3 beautiful daughters, Anna, Maria, and Lisa. Anna, the eldest, was kind and trusting. She believed in the goodness of people and always saw the best in everyone. Maria, the middle daughter, was more cautious, and Lisa, the youngest, was independent and strong-willed, living far away at university. One day, a man named John arrived in town. He was tall, handsome, and spoke with such charm that people couldn't help but like him. But beneath his friendly smile, John was not the kind man he pretended to be. He was greedy and dangerous, only interested in one thing: money. And he had heard that the rich man was one of the wealthiest men in the region. John decided that his best way to get rich was to marry one of the rich man's daughters. John was careful and had planned everything well. He knew that he had to win over one of the daughters, gain the trust of their father, and then, slowly, take over the family fortune. He had done something similar before. In another town where his fiancée mysteriously disappeared after an accident, no one ever found out the truth because John was so good at covering his tracks. Now, in this new town, he had his sights set on Anna, the eldest daughter. John first met Anna, the eldest daughter. Anna was kind and sweet. She believed the best in people, and when she met John, she liked him immediately. John pretended to be a good and caring man. He gave her flowers, wrote her letters, and always had a smile on his face. Anna fell in love with him quickly. One day, while they were walking near the river, John took Anna's hand and said, "Anna, I love you. You are the most amazing woman I've ever met." Anna smiled, feeling happy. They were engaged, and everything seemed perfect. But John was hiding something. He had been engaged before in another town, and his fiancée had mysteriously disappeared. No one knew what happened, but John was responsible. He had carefully planned everything so that no one suspected him. Anna began to notice some strange things. John would disappear for hours, and when she asked him where he had been, he gave vague answers. One day, while she was organizing his things, she found a letter hidden in his bag. It was from another woman, talking about their past relationship. The tone of the letter was cold, and the woman seemed scared. Anna's heart raced. As she read the words, she realized that John had been hiding something dark. Later that evening, she confronted John. "John, who is this woman?" Anna asked, showing him the letter. John's face went pale. "Why are you going through my things, Anna?" he said, trying to stay calm. "That's in the past. It doesn't matter anymore." "But what happened to her? Did you hurt her?" Anna's voice was shaking. John knew that if Anna told her father, his plan would be ruined. He couldn't let that happen. In a panic, he grabbed her tightly and threw her into the river. Everyone thought it was an accident, and Anna had accidentally fallen into the river. A few hours later, Anna had died. No one suspected John. He made sure all the evidence was hidden. The rich man was devastated by the loss of Anna. His heart was broken, but he didn't know the truth. He thought it was a tragic accident, and no one knew that John was responsible. Months passed after Anna's tragic death. The whole town believed it was an accident. John disappeared for a while, but then returned. This time he went to visit Maria, Anna's sister. Maria lived in a different town and didn't know much about what had happened. She only knew her sister had died in a tragic accident. One afternoon, Maria sat in her garden when a man approached. It was John. "Good afternoon," John said with a friendly smile. "You must be Maria." Maria smiled politely. "Yes, that's me. And you are?" "I'm John. I was a friend of your sister, Anna. I'm deeply sorry for your loss," John said, his voice soft. Maria looked sad. "Yes, it was a terrible accident. I miss her every day." John nodded. "She was a wonderful person. I hope we can get to know each other better. I would love to spend more time with you." Maria felt touched by his kindness. Over the next few weeks, John spent more time with Maria just as he had with Anna. He was careful to act like a good man, always polite and kind. Soon Maria started to trust him, just as Anna had. One day, while going through some old letters from Anna, Maria found something strange. It was a note from her sister, written just before Anna died. In the letter, Anna wrote, "I don't trust John anymore. I'm scared of him." Maria's hands trembled as she read the letter. What did Anna mean by this? She whispered to herself. A terrible thought crossed her mind. Did John hurt Anna? That evening, Maria confronted John. She held up the letter. "John, what is this? Why did my sister write that she was scared of you?" John's face grew pale. He realized Maria was getting too close to the truth. "You don't need to worry about Anna," he said, his voice calm but cold. Maria stepped back, her heart racing. "Tell me the truth, John. Did you hurt my sister?" John's eyes narrowed. He couldn't let Maria expose him. Just like with Anna, he silenced Maria too. He made it look like another accident. Once again, no one suspected him. Chapter 2. Lisa, the Last Sister. After Maria's death, John disappeared again. But there was still one more daughter left, Lisa, the youngest. Lisa lived far away and didn't know much about John or what had happened to her sisters. All she knew was that they had both died in tragic accidents. One day, while working in her garden, Lisa heard a voice behind her. "Hello, Lisa," John said, smiling warmly. Lisa turned around and saw a tall man standing there. "Hello," she said cautiously. "Who are you?" I'm John. I was close to your sisters, Anna and Maria, he said. I'm very sorry for your loss. Lisa nodded, but she didn't smile. Something about John felt, off. She wasn't sure why, but she didn't trust him right away. John tried to charm Lisa, just like he had with her sisters. But Lisa was different. She was strong and independent. She didn't trust people easily. John had to work harder to win her over. After several months, John finally asked her, Lisa, will you marry me? Lisa looked at him carefully. She felt unsure. I need time to think about it, John. John smiled, hiding his frustration. Of course, take all the time you need. John once again played the role of the charming man. He pretended to care for Lisa, and slowly Lisa began to trust him. They spent time together, and John made sure to be extra careful. He didn't want to make any mistakes this time. Lisa liked John, but she was not as quick to trust as her sisters. Still, after a few months, John asked her, Lisa, you are the light of my life. Will you marry me? Lisa, feeling that John was sincere, smiled and said, Yes, I will. John thought that his plan was finally going to work. He would marry Lisa, gain the trust of her father, and finally get the rich man's fortune. But what John didn't know was that someone had been watching him closely. Peter, a friend of Anna, had never trusted John. He had been suspicious ever since Anna's death. Peter had loved Anna deeply, and when Maria also died, he decided to investigate. Peter started looking into John's past, searching for clues. Eventually, he found letters from both Anna and Maria that suggested John was involved in their deaths. Peter immediately went to the rich man and said, Sir, I have to tell you something terrible. I believe John is responsible for Anna and Maria's deaths. Look at these letters. The rich man was shocked. How could I not have seen it? He said, his voice filled with sorrow. John must pay for what he's done. We have to stop him before he hurts Lisa. Peter said urgently. Peter and the rich man made a plan to catch John. They decided to invite John to see some of the land that he would inherit after marrying Lisa. They told John that they wanted to show him the family's most valuable property. John, thinking everything was going well, agreed to meet them. When John arrived at the land, the rich man smiled and said, John, I trust you with my daughter Lisa. After you marry her, you will inherit all of this land. John's eyes lit up with greed. Thank you, sir, he said, feeling like his plan was working perfectly. But then Peter stepped forward. John, we know what you did, he said, holding up the letters from Anna and Maria. It's over. John's face turned white. I don't know what you're talking about, he stammered. Peter continued, You killed Anna and Maria. You planned everything, but now we know the truth. John realized he was trapped. He grew desperate and panicked. He grabbed Lisa, pulling her close. If you don't let me go, he shouted, I'll hurt her too. Lisa screamed, struggling to break free. The rich man's heart was pounding. John, Let her go!" he shouted. John, in his panic, started backing away, but he wasn't paying attention to where he was going. Suddenly, he tripped over a rock, and in the confusion, a loud shot rang out. John had accidentally hurt himself. He fell to the ground, his plan finally coming to an end. The rich man rushed to Lisa, holding her close. "It's over," he said, his voice shaking. Lisa, still in shock, whispered, "Thank you, Father." In the end, the rich man had lost 2 daughters, but he had saved Lisa from the same fate. The truth about John was finally revealed. His plan had been stopped, and he had paid the price for his greed. The rich man learned a valuable lesson. No matter how clever or careful someone is, the truth will always come to light.
If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure you don't miss our next video. We have an exciting and engaging topic lined up to help you practice your listening skills. Click here to watch it and keep improving your English.